Have you ever wondered who would win if all the Hashiras and the Upper Moons fought each other? Well, to answer that, I've created a scenario where Hashiras and the Upper Moons will fight each other with all of their might. I picked every Hashira and Upper Moon and split them into 5 stages. To make it simple, I'll start by revealing the first stage for both teams. And as the video goes on, I will slowly keep adding more and more characters until we eventually reach the end when both sides will fight each other with everything they have. Well, for starters, we have Tengen and Shinobu on the Hashira side and Daki and Gyutaro on the Upper Moon side. Although Tengen vs Gyutaro is a matchup we have already seen, if they were to fight again, the fight might go a bit differently. This is mainly because Tanjiro isn't here to help Tengen. And we have to admit, Tanjiro did play a major role in defeating upper rank 6. The fight does seem close, but Gyutaro is a bit stronger than Tengen. So their only option is Shinobu defeating Daki as soon as possible and helping Tengen. And trust me, it's easier said than done. Shinobu is the perfect matchup for the upper 6 duo, considering you have to behead both of them at the same time. And that's impossible for both Tengen and Shinobu. Gyutaro is stronger and Shinobu doesn't have the raw strength to behead a demon. So I can see Shinobu using her poison to defeat Daki very quickly. By the time Shinobu goes to help Tengen, he would be severely injured. I think both of the Hashiras working together can defeat Gyutaro. So the Upper Moon aren't off to a great start, but they're still the strongest Upper Moons left to join the battle. And trust me, there will be many surprises along the way. In the second stage, Gyokko will be there to assist the Upper Moons. Do the Hashiras stand any chance now? Well, the obvious matchups are Gyokko and Gyutaro versus Tengen, Shinobu versus Daki. There's no way stands a chance against 2 Upper Moons. But I think he'd be able to put up a fight for a few minutes, considering that he's the most experienced and he's a former shinobi. He's also the fastest Hashira, and even after losing an iron arm, he was still able to fight. After quite some time, I think Daki would lose, and when Shinobu goes to help Tengen, she sees Tengen is dead and she also gets defeated pretty quickly. Now the Hashiras get back up, Iguro Obanai and Kanroji Mitsui. So I think the matchups are Obanai versus Gyokko, which I think he would be pretty capable of winning since he's one of the strongest Hashiras. Also, seeing how Muichiro defeated Gyokko in a 1v1, I think Obanai can do it too. But since Tanjiro didn't awaken his mark in this scenario, it's hard to predict what would happen. While this is happening, Tengen would fight Gyutaro, although he can beat him. Well, he doesn't have to, because Mitsuri is here and she's stronger than Tanjiro in the Entertainment District arc. So they will be able to defeat Gyutaro, and Shinobu as always defeats Daki. Not bad for the Hashiras. Now the Upper Moons will get a pretty strong foe in their team, Hantengu. Now that Hantengu is on their side, can the demons stand a chance? Here are the matchups. Shinobu vs Daki, Tengen vs Gyutaro, Mitsuri vs Gyokko, Obanai vs Hantengu. Well, the first one to be defeated is Daki, since she's the weakest, followed by Mitsuri, which is expected since it's impossible for her to defeat an upper rank by herself. Shinobu will go and try to help Tengen, who is having a tough time against Gyutaro. And since Gyokko is free, I think he will try to help Gyokko, making it a 2v2. Gyutaro and Gyokko versus Shinobu and Tengen. I think Tengen would lose his stamina and go down, followed by Shinobu. By this point, seeing Mitsuri die, Obanai would be furious to see his crush get killed and possibly unlocking his Demon Slayer mark. I don't think he'd be able to defeat 3 Upper Moons at the same time, but I can see him defeating at least one, maybe Hantengu since he was fighting him from the beginning. But he will also lose eventually. It seems the Hashiras are having the time of their life, huh? Let's move on to the third stage. Let's give the Hashiras a boost, shall we? Give Tomioka and Tokito Muichiro. Well, now the demons are going to be obliterated. Here are the matchups. Shinobu vs Daki, Gyutaro vs Tomioka, Gyokko vs Mitsuri and Muichiro Tokito, Hantengu vs Obanai and Tengen. Now the demons are cornered. There's no way they're surviving these matchups. Well, this stage was pretty easy, right? Not quite, because in this round, the Slayers are going to face Akaza, the upper three, and this guy is on a whole another level. Here are the matchups: Shinobu vs Daki, Gyutaro vs Muichiro, Gyokko vs Tengen, Akaza vs Gyu and Mitsuri, Obanai vs Hantengu. The first one to be defeated is Daki, leaving Shinobu free to assist whoever she chooses. I think from the Hashira side, Mitsuri is going to be defeated, and Shinobu will have to assist Gyu. By this point, Muichiro should defeat Gyutaro. Muichiro is going to help Gyu and Shinobu against Akaza, seeing that they're almost losing to the Upper Moon 3. By this point, Gyokko would defeat Tengen, and Gyokko will help Hantengu, who is having a crazy fight against Obanai. And yeah, Obanai is pretty strong, but against two Upper Moons, it's impossible. After he gets defeated, I think the Hashiras are going to be defeated one by one. That was crazy, right? Not exactly. You see, the upper rank 1 is still remaining, and he's going to change everything. Stage 4, we had the strongest Hashira, Gyome Himejima. Now that the strongest Hashira is here, it's kind of one-sided. The matchups are Shinobu vs Daki, Gyutaro vs Obanai, Gyokko vs Muichiro and Mitsuri, Hantengu vs Gyu and Tengen, and Akaza vs Gyome. Well, here the fights are close, but one by one the demons will start to fall. The first one being Daki, followed by Gyokko, since he's up against two Hashiras. The Upper Moon will lose, even with the help of Akaza. But now, we have Doma assisting the Upper Moons. Can the Hashiras even win? Well, I don't know. Here are the possible matchups: Shinobu vs Daki, Gyutaro vs Tengen and Mitsuri, Gyokko vs Muichiro, Hantengu vs Obanai, Akaza vs Gyutomioka, and Gyome vs Doma. Well, it seems impossible for the Hashiras. Over there, the first one to be defeated is Daki. Shinobu helps Gyu. He needs help against the Upper Moon 3. I think Muichiro would be able to defeat Gyokko, but go down himself too. Followed by Hantengu and Obanai, I think Shinobu would be defeated by Akaza. So the remaining fighters are Gyutomioka, who is on the brink of defeat, and Tengen. Tengen would defeat Gyutaro, but Mitsuri would go down with Gyutaro. So at this point, Gyome would be defeated, but almost takes Doma with him. And I don't think Tengen and Gyu can beat the remaining Upper Moons. That was stage 4, final stage coming next.